Hello, hello. Nice to see you this fine Tuesday, and hope to show you some really cool things this on this live. Whether you're here with me today or if you're watching the replay, it's Alena Wilson from Estimate Mastery, and I'm going to be starting a new project here with you guys, looking at a quite unusual roof that the adjuster paid for just one slope. And we're going to look to see how we can get the other slopes. But I will tell you, it's going to be a little bit easier than a laminate style roof, because this is an old, we'll take a look. I'll show you all the pictures, but this is like an old aluminum style metal shingle roof. So I'm going to show you all the pictures and all that, and we'll get started here shortly. I'm again here from Estimate Mastery. We teach contractors how to use Xactimate, and we help you through the insurance process. So that's what we're going to be doing on today's video. All right, cool. All right, we've got some people that are here with us. So I'm going to go ahead and open everything up and get started. So we'll start here with the original adjuster's estimate. Then I'll move into some photos, and then we will go ahead and it's going to be a great time looking at, like I said, it's an unusual one because it's some of the metal shingles that you're going to see here on this estimate. So, all right, Adam's here for it. He's ready to go. This is fantastic. So anyways, let me just pull this up for us. Let me share my screen and we'll get going here. And this is one that was actually here in Utah, it looks like. So that's going to be a fun one for me because I'm located about 8 minutes away from the Verisk office, which is hilarious. That I'm so close to the Verisk main place. I've been there many times, talked with pricing, talked with quite a few of the trainers that are over there, the trainers and things like that. So it's fantastic. All right, so we're going to take a look at this one. It's actually in Ogden, Utah. We've got a date of loss of March 2nd, 2024. So we are with this one. It's Assurant is the insurance company, but Pilot was the adjuster that wrote the estimate. And what that tells me, when it's a Pilot estimate, it just means that that's a third party that the insurance company had come out, and it's not directly written by Assurant. They had a third party, which is Pilot, write this. So I have a lot of experience. Before I started treating contractors, I used to train third party with the adjuster training that I did. I trained for third party estimating firms. So that's why I know a lot about Pilot situation and all that fun stuff. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at this. I just need to get the summary page. Okay. So we're dealing with a roof that was partial bought, and price list looks like it is from, let's see, this is an Assurant estimate, and the price list from Pilot is December 2024. So that's when they've written this up, and it's kind of a funky one in that they waited a while from the date of loss to the time that they started the job, or the adjuster got called out to the job. And then of course the contractor that we work with went out and scoped the loss. Let me get the photos loaded too. All right, let's get started here. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to use the screen to the left of me over here. Let's see. Yep, you can see that. This is my photos section. So let me get this going for us, and we'll take a look at the photos, and then we'll take a look at the estimate. So here's what we're looking at, and that's why I'm saying this is a very unusual one. I don't see these types of shingles that often. So it's up in Ogden, Utah, and this is the adjuster's photo. No, this is the contractor's photos, not the adjuster's photos. And so you'll see this is where they have some tarping. This is the part of the roof that the adjuster's estimate covers, and you'll see it's a partial. They're just covering this area. They've got the tarping down. Contractor got that done. And that's what we're looking at. Now, the reason I picked this file is look what was underneath all of that metal. That metal is probably what, 50s, 60s. Interesting to me that the insurance company would allow this to go through underwriting. So, well, maybe they've had the same insurance company for a long time, but you've got this area with damage. And then up here, we've got not only the laminate style there, you've got another underlayment, and I can't tell if it's 3-tab or laminate there. And then you've got shake. So we've got quite an extensive roofing job on our hands, in that I can't just go back with this material. This has got to be, disco material. And we're going to prove that with a name that shingle report. You could pull an ITEL, whatever your flavor of choice is, but that's what we're dealing with. So you've got the first layer, second layer. I'm not sure why they ordered it this way, but we've got 4 layers here. And the shakes are going to be laying on strats, right? Whenever the shakes are installed, they're installed on a spaced decking. So we're going to need to redeck this, because I almost guarantee those shakes have that slatted style strats beneath them. So just to kind of overview, pretty basic as far as roof structure. That's the damage that we're going after. So when we look at the original adjuster's estimate, you're going to see that he just paid for these slopes here. So let's take a look at that really quick. It's going to be a pretty easy one to review tonight, or if you're watching the replay, because they just paid for a couple of the slopes. So tear off, they've got the 7.54 squares, and remove the aluminum shingles and replace, I believe. They did get the O and L on this, but we can't just do a partial on this, right? A partial install. We've got to, if we're going to reinstall everything, well, first of all, once we take off these layers, they're intertwined with what's underneath the other existing parts of this metal roof. We also have a discontinued shingle on our hands here. And so we're going to need to go back with something that we can actually purchase in today's market, correct? So what are we going to do? We're going to go for the full roof replacement on this one. But let's just go ahead and review this in depth. Also, the price list is from December 2024. So we're going to ask for a reprice already off the bat. I know that's going to be something I want to talk to the adjuster about. So they've got the dumpster, they've got the tear off the composition shingles. So they've got 1 layer of tear off for the composition shingles, where our pictures here clearly show that there's a different layer here than there is with this reddish shingle, but that's the 3 tab, I believe. And they've got a layer there, and then the shake. So they're even missing a layer on their estimate. So we've got the 1 layer of composition shingles, 1 layer of shake. Then you've got your aluminum shingle removal, and then they've got the same replacement. I would still want to get a like, kind, and quality of what that older material would be like in today's standards. So we're going to run 1 of those. Again, get a name, not shingle, ITEL, whatever your flavor is. They did have the additional high charge for the sections of the roof that were a second story. So they did add the high charge here. And for that section, which was the 4.13, they did not add waste to the high charge. So that's also going to be something we're going to go after, as well as an additional layer of removal composition shingles. And then they did actually add the sheathing. So they did acknowledge that there's that spaced decking underneath the shakes is going to need to be taken care of. And then we've got our ice and water shield. So that is pretty much everything they paid for here, and we ended up with a $10,986 estimate from the adjuster initially. Once they went out there, again, it's Pilot that did the inspection, so that tells me it's a third-party estimating service. The actual insurance company is Assurant. So we've got quite a few really cool things we're going to go after on this one. Some other things, you've got some of the flashing that might be affected around the windows and such, that we're going to take a look here. Step flashing, you've got the chimneys, and you've got these crickets that we need to address. They had them in the first photo right here. So we've got 3 chimneys on this home. Not sure of the age of when it was built, but I could pull a one-click code report. It would tell me the age. And it looks like it's in downtown Ogden, Utah here. And got those crickets. We've got to address, the fact that the metal's discontinued. What does that mean? It means that we need to bring the insured back to the condition before the loss. So they didn't have 2 crazy looking different types of metal shingles before the loss. So since we can't get the same like kind of material, we need to go back and actually do a full roof replacement, so that, we don't have two different looking shingles. Also, manufacturer's requirements, I probably can't tie in the new aluminum shingle into this. And then the second backup. So if the adjuster doesn't go with, they didn't have two wackadoodle types of shingles on their roof beforehand with this metal shingle, we can't go back with that. It needs to be, uniform appearance. That might not be the best language to use in your state, but basically the purpose of insurance is to indemnify the insured back to the condition before the loss. They didn't have two different shingles before the loss. Why should they have to not enjoy a full, putting themselves back to the condition before any of the damage happened? So that would be the first order of attack. Secondly, if they paid to remove and replace all of this material here and put decking down, well, how am I going to, make this a waterproof roof without disturbing the material underneath where this touches? And then once I remove this ridge, what are we going to do with this slope when I have to remove the material underneath here? It's kind of a domino effect of consequential damages. So consequential damages is a really good phrase to use whenever they say something like, well, we don't replace anything, we don't pay for anything that's not directly damaged by hail. Well, when I pull up the shingle and it's nailed through a flashing and I have to pull that nail out to remove the shingle, now the flashing's nailed through. Consequential damages says I got to replace that flashing per IRC code that says I can't reuse any damaged flashing metal. So that's the kind of stuff that we look for when we go back to the adjuster with the supplement. So we definitely, first of all, and they don't have two types of metal shingles on their roof right now. If they were to go to sell their home and the shingles looked funny because we installed new shingles next to discontinued shingles, that's the first area of attack. If they push back on that, I can go back to, well, how do you recommend I remove the material that the shingles are sitting on when you've got 4 layers here? And, the manufacturer of the new shingle isn't going to be able to warrant. And again, be very careful with how you use this language. I'm just giving you the thoughts and the theory behind it. But how can I, as a general contractor, warrant this roof from leaking again if I'm supposed to only switch out the sheathing here, which interconnects with other parts of the roof all the way around? So that's the consequential damage part of it that you're going to want to discuss. So I know this is a metal roof, but it does all these points that I'm bringing up work for a partial roof replacement when a roof repair when it should be a full roof replacement. Those are the kinds of things you want to touch on. And so again, just a really interesting one. We've got an evaporative cooler. We've got some crickets, flashings. We've got a cooler that would have to be detached and reset, or extra labor hours to work around. Probably has to be detached, right, to get to those other layers of material underneath and to put it back safely. You've got flashing, you've got your drip edge. They need to go back with ice and water shield on this one as well, which the adjuster did pay for, but going back with the replacement, there's quite a bit to go over on this. So that's what we're dealing with. And again, the adjuster's estimate was at $10,986, and they just paid for a few line items here for that repair. So we've got a lot to go after for sure. And we're actually going to do that next week. I know, spoiler, like, Alena, just get to it. Show us that show us the supplement estimate. I'm actually gonna do that with you next week. In the meantime, what I've been have the privilege of having a person that knows a lot about AI reach out and actually allow me to start to talk about their product, which is, hang in there with me, it'll take the PDF of the original adjuster's estimate and write it into an ESX for us. So the reason I'm stopping here is I'm going to go ahead and get one of those reports from them and show you how that works next week. It's going to be fantastic if you want to join me. So basically, let me walk you through the process of how this works. We take the adjuster's estimate, and without having to do anything, we just put it into the AI generator. It's going to go rewrite the estimate for me, so I don't have to do that in Xactimate. It's then going to take this PDF, going to turn it into what's called an ESX file. ESX files are the format that you can just drag and drop into Xactimate. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and take that PDF to ESX file. I would just drag and drop it right in here into Xactimate, and then I can work on it. So I'm getting one of those files from a company called Claims Cortex. You're going to see me talking a lot about them from now on. The PDF to ESX generator is fantastic. So instead of me having to take the time to open up Xactimate, rewrite all of the line items, and then supplement down below, that's going to be taken care of in about 5 minutes by AI. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to show you that next week. And then it'll spit out an ESX file from the AI generated Xactimate. I can import that, and then I can write my supplement. So as a human, I'm still going to be taking the time to write the supplement myself, but that boring admin work of recreating the original statement of loss will be done. This is going to be super helpful when we have 50, 60, 150 line items from the original estimate. Maybe you do commercial or HOA losses. It's going to be a game changer. So, yeah. All right. Let me answer some questions here. Yeah, but I can't with Lockwood's questions. I love these questions, by the way. Very good. I'm not really sure here. I would have to have a follow-up question. It's super accurate to the point that it pulls prices from GPS closest lows. That's actually not true with Xactimate. Xactimate has a whole pricing department. So the pricing department, or possibly some AI that they're using now, is going and sourcing big box stores like that, but they also source suppliers. And they take into account the adjusters' input. Adjusters send their ESX up through something called Exact Analysis, that when a price is changed, it feeds that data back into Exact Analysis. And pricing at Exactware also has to take into account any feedback that we give as contractors, estimators, or adjusters out in the field. If you ever want to understand how they source their pricing, you can email pricing@exactware.com. I have a banner here. Let's see if I can get this. It's just pricing. Let me hide that one. I need to edit that. That's on there. It's pricing at Exactware, or actually it's Verisk now. Verisk.com. If you have Exactware, that I think it'll probably work, but pricing at Verisk.com will get you that information. You can ask them any questions about pricing, and they can tell you how they source. I went and got pricing certified through Verisk. And so that is why I know about that. So Lockwood, great question. But you can email them, hey, how do you source your pricing? And they'll give you the whole rundown. I also use pricing at Verisk if I don't know what something's called. Like, what is this in Xactimate? And then they can give me their feedback. You do have to, give them a picture and a description so that they know what you're looking for. I also ask them questions like, what's the intent behind the waste on a steep and high charge? And they'll give you some verbiage on that. So always ask pricing as if you're inquisitive. Don't go in there blaming them or trying to pick them apart. They'll sniff it out really quick and they're not going to be very useful. Just ask questions as a curious human being, and they're really helpful to help you fill in any gaps or suggest a line item or help you in any way. So that's super cool that we have that resource. So check that out if you have questions on pricing. The other thing I was going to say is that the AI for free, Lockwood also said, I talked about how you can take the line items from the Xactimate estimate and process it through Claims Cortex. So Oscar, it's called Claims Cortex. Okay. Claims Cortex. I'll get you a link. Amanda, my admin, will put a link down below, Oscar, over on YouTube for that. But the difference between what AI can do for free by copying and pasting a PDF and it turning it into a CSV format. So CSV is Excel, or if you use Google Sheets, that would be your CSV format. This tool will actually write it in Xactimate, so I can just drag and drop it in there. So it takes about 5 minutes for it to chew on it, spits out an ESX, and I just drag and drop it right into Xactimate. I don't have to do any other manipulating of it. Open up that estimate, and I'll show you all this next week, like I said, once I get one. So good to see you, Belinda. I see you there. Yeah. No, that's fine. Roll with what you got to do. These reports actually are quite cheap, but we'll put the information over on YouTube. It'll be a comment we have a link for you. You can go talk to Claims Cortex and get that information on how you can have the automatic PDF TESX written for you. So I'll show you that live next week. For now, we are going to go ahead and call it for this one. That's all I have to share. To hope you got some interesting verbiage from what we were looking at with the adjuster paying for a partial replacement, and we're going to turn it into a full roof replacement instead of just the partial. Also, I'll talk about that more next week. I'll show you the estimate that were written, and then we'll show you how that AI to PDF, the PDF to ESX works as well. So, all right. Yep. Thank you. Glad. Hey, Lockwood words learned some things. Thank you so much. And whoops, I didn't. Yep. There we go. Yep. We're going to add the link. Both Paula will add the link to the AI. If you want to learn more about that tool, we'll link that on Facebook and over on YouTube. And then, as always, right now I can go ahead and send you this. If you're ever interested in what we do here at Estimate Mastery and how we can help you learn Xactimate, help you get paid what you should on your insurance-related jobs. And if you're ever interested on what we do here at Estimate Mastery, there's a little survey that I just dropped that if you fill that out, you can go book a call with our team to go have a chat about what we do here at Estimate Mastery as well. I actually might be able to drop the same link right here since we're all together. So 2 different links. The first one is for if you'd like to learn more about Estimate Mastery. The second one is going to be the Claims Cortex. If you want to go talk to the AI generator guys, that's that second link that I just dropped. Actually, it posted just fine. So the one that has Claims Cortex in it is the one you're going to look at. So for that. Other than that, I'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same channel, over on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll look over the ESX that the AI will generate. Then we'll write the supplement estimate together, and I'll show you how that works, and we'll see what the total cost of this job was once we get it into Xactimate and then priced with today's pricing. We won't use December 2024. We'll use today, April 2025's pricing, and I'll show you what that looks like. So hope you have a great week in your business, and I'll see you next week.